Everyone knows what happened to Uriah Cook. The how, however, is still unclear. Now people can't see this forest for the trees. Not since that young man hung from its branches.
Yeah, that was a unique case. It didn't feel right from the start. There was just so much that didn't add up about the way things happened. The tree had rope burn around where he was hung as if it had been used before for the same purpose. There were footprints about 30 feet away from the incident. The forest is a high traffic area, but it just seemed too coincidental. Those small things like that.
Nobody knew for sure, and they all had had their suspicions. For most, it was just a headline, another body in a tree. But for Uriah's friends and family, it was a quest for answers.
I got the call when I was actually in the kitchen and I was making tacos for our dinner that night. And I got the phone call and I answered it. And they told me that my boy killed himself in the woods. And that was 6 months ago. And everybody told me that it would get better with time. But it hasn't. I miss my boy. My heart is broken. I can feel him. But I can't touch him, and I can't talk to him. My worst fears come true. I had to bury my baby. And I don't want to be here anymore. It's wrecked my whole life. It's broken his brothers, his nephews, and his friends. They say he killed himself, but I just don't believe that he would have done that. He was a good kid. He always made me laugh. And he pissed me off too. But he did that on purpose because that would make him laugh. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I wasn't around for the last bit there. We'd been friends for a long time, and he always had this attitude about himself that said he was gonna go places. Last time we talked, he mentioned that he was gonna move overseas, and he was gonna be something great. And then suddenly, out of the blue, his mom just calls me and says he's dead. Sorry, what? He wasn't that kind of person. He wasn't the kind of person who would let anything get down on him or bring him down to a point where he couldn't handle it. No, he could handle it. When I had issues, I would go to him because he could handle his shit, and then he could also help me get through my shit. Nothing about this makes any sense whatsoever. I don't believe it was him.
Are you comfortable?
As comfortable as it can be.
I realize this is an inconvenience, so thank you for coming down. Could you state your name?
Jimmy.
Full name?
Jimmy Mock.
Thank you. You're aware of the situation, correct?
Old clerk decided to hang himself and he brought me in.
You were the last person he was seen with.
And we worked together, so I'm not exactly sure why I'm here.
It wasn't important that you worked together, it was important that you worked together.
I give the guy a ride home. Day after day, that's about it. Drop him off at his house around 8:15.
So you knew where he lived.
So we rode together.
So you had to know where he lived. You had to know at least a little bit about him. Tell me what you know. What do you know about Uriah Cook?
What is there to know, man? Dude had a big mouth. Talked to a lot of people.
Anyone ever stand out to you?
No.
No suspect characters in his rogues gallery?
Listen, I don't get why you brought me in here. I understand maybe, I dropped the guy off at work a couple of times. Okay, this, that, whatever. I know where he lives. But I didn't do anything. The dude hung himself.
No one's implying that.
The guy hung himself. So when the cops show up at my door, what am I supposed to think? You suspect me?
Everyone's a suspect at this point, Mr. Mott. Until we rule this a suicide, we're going to continue forward with the investigation.
Well, it's a
Go over
suicide.
the side.
So, I mean, you put a guy on a tree. It's a suicide. He hung himself.
To assume that without due process would be gross misuse of justice. How's about, what did you two do
What did we do?
the last night that he was seen? You were the last one seen with him. What were you doing?
Had a couple of drinks. Came into my place. We talked a little bit.
Thought you would give him rides?
Well, this night he
Is
just.
there something you're not telling me, Mr. Mott?
I just am confused. Why I'm here. That's it. You're a cop. You got a gun on the head. Feeling a little bit nervous. If that's that, then if this is going to go any further, I'd like a lawyer.